Hello and welcome back to the NMP production channel here at YouTube. Don't know, I think this one's, here we go. Definitely welcome back to the Nasty Metal production channel here at YouTube. So, as you can see from the title, this of course is a collection update. Within this collection update, there's some, stuff that I had gotten before and a bit little after my birthday. So, which of course my birthday was last week. So in a way, this is almost pretty much a birthday special collection update. So if we get into it, but I'm definitely gonna get to the ones that I gotten, just at least a month or at least ago or a week ago, weeks ago, whatever. Don't want to try and make this too long. So, it's definitely, get into just getting everything situated. Never prepared. Alright. Right there. Alright. These two right here I got from, as VCLT from Scott Waters. And of course, that's, hope that's coming in. Uriah Heep, Sweet Freedom. Just a good Uriah Heep album. I don't know if this is a bit too loud. Yeah, this was just a good Uriah Heep album. Definitely right after the two, albums such as Demons and Wizards and The Magician's Birthday. And it definitely has that sound still. It's definitely, just a good Uriah Heep album. What else needs to be said? Just got classics on here, being Dreamer, Steelin', If I Had the Time, 7 Stars, Pilgrim, the title track, One Day. Like, it's just a killer album from Uriah Heep. The other one being, Hydra, Rock the World. Definitely a good album. Now, I'll definitely say, when I first listened to this album, I liked it very much, which was, of course, the first time I heard it was on YouTube. But I had listened to their first album as well, and it definitely had more of a southern rock sound. Here, the more I listen to this one, to me it just sounds just like a straight-up hard rock album. What else can be said? This, of course, was their last album. They only had 3 albums, and their third is definitely their best. Though, wish they had kept going, because if they did, they probably would have gotten even better. But still, good album from Hydra, and definitely just a killer album. Both got that one and Uriah Heep from Scott Waters. So definitely now get to this, to the CDs now, because that was it for vinyl. Blood Feast. Damn it, I don't know if that's really coming in very good. Maybe I need to turn on something. Shouldn't be. There we go. Yeah, just Blood Feast, The Future State of Wicked. Good album here. Reviewed this one already. Don't need to say anything more. Just a good comeback album from thrash, cult legends, Blood Feast. Just got this one definitely as weeks ago, whatever. Styx, the newest album from them, The Mission. I didn't know what to expect from this album though, because I like Styx. Definitely 70s era Styx mostly. But coming into this one, I didn't know what to expect. It is a concept album. I think that's kind of coming a little too much here. But yeah, I didn't know what to truly expect from this album here. It's a concept album. Wanted to do a review on it, but didn't really expect this to actually be that good. It definitely has that 70s feel to this album, very much like, the Grand Illusion and such. At times, even almost harkening back to their wood nickel era stuff. Which is, of course, very apparent on the song Gone, 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 which is one of the most hard rockin' songs on the album, and very much has that wood nickel type of sound that they had, on albums, definitely such as, Man of Miracles. Definitely good album from Styx. But yeah, definitely also one of the best, prog rock albums from this year. Definitely from a classic band. Good album. These two, I definitely, I'm gonna be showing. I got, from David McCash, who was the brother of the late Jason McCash. Of course, being The Gates of Slumbers, The Awakening, and the Stormcrow EP. Now, this album right here has a bit more of an epic doom metal sound to it, but not like Candlemass. But just very much, I guess, very much kind of mixing a little bit of that Candlemass, but more with that Black Sabbath sound. And a very good album, bit raw, but still very good, debut from them. And of course, the Stormcrow EP right here being their last thing that was released by them. Just a straight up, straight to the throat doom metal album. Just grabs you by the jugular. Good stuff. Much more, less. It's very much not a epic doom metal, sound on here. Just good, doom metal. Just good. Also had picked this one up as well, and I didn't really have a legit copy of this album in my collection. Of course, is Toys in the Attic by, Aerosmith. What else needs to be said? Just, good album from Aerosmith. Just a classic. Alright, definitely time to get to the ones that I did get, for my birthday, so definitely rearranging this. Alright, so definitely coming here with these two right here that I gotten. When I first heard about these reissues, definitely had to get them because I got the, some of the last three reissues that were released from this. This, of course, is a deluxe reissue for both, Bad Company's Run at the Pack and Burning Sky. Now, these reissues definitely took place right during the last few, runs of Rhino's reissues for the Led Zeppelin albums, which, to kick off the Bad Company reissues, definitely started with the first two albums, which I did pick up when they first were released back in 2015, and since then I've been definitely, whenever, picking these up whenever these are released. So I was definitely stoked when these were getting when these got reissued, but couldn't get them, but got them as a birthday gift from my brother and grandmother. Great, definitely like with these, there's a 2-disc reissues. First disc is basically the original album remaster, while the second disc is definitely a bunch of early, outtakes, alternate versions, and such. To me, I think these bonus, types of, alternate takes are more interesting than the type of, stuff that was used as bonus tracks for the Led Zeppelin reissues. At least, maybe like past the first album. Because, just, I don't know, they just seem to interest me. There's definitely, some unreleased material. Just good. Run with the Pack. Never really listened to this album from at least, I only knew about, Live for the Music and the title track. The rest of the album I never really listened to. It's a good album. I like it. You know what you get from Bad Company. But it's a good album. I like it. Next one, though, I've listened to a lot of times, and that's, of course, is Burning Sky. To me, I think this is a fucking underrated album from Bad Company. I don't understand the reason, the beef with this album. I don't understand it. I can never understand why people seem to dislike this album. Sure, it's a bit melodic at times. It's a bit more bluesier than their other albums. But there just seems to be something here that works better than I think whatever kind of does on Run With The Pack, which I think this album is just a bit okay. Well, this one, I think this is actually a good album. And also to let you know, I actually think this album actually also is better than the first album. To me, one of the best songs off here is, of course, the title track, Leaving You, and Too Bad. Both very good songs from them. Just a underrated album. Of course, with this one, you got, again, alternate takes, whatever. But you also get a full version of the song Too Bad, actually. Actually, two versions. A full version, and of course, a version that features Mick Ralph on vocals, which sounds very different than what it would turn into. But still, glad to have these two reissues. I'm not going to open them up because I don't want to spend too much time on this, Don't want to spend too much. So it's with these. Definitely also got this, but in a way this was also a wish list sort of deal. Due to the passing of, Chris Cornell, I definitely wanted a actual Soundgarden full-length down because all I had was a compilation titled Telephantasm, whatever, and it was just a single disc promo release, whatever, that was specially used for the Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock video game. And I got that, and it piqued more of my interest in listening to a bit more from Soundgarden, because all I knew was Rusty Cage and Black Hole Sun. So the album I wanted to really check out the most was, of course, their second full-length album, Louder Than Love, which is, sure, these guys were definitely part of the grunge movement, but these guys sound like they came from the 1970s. This album has loads of Black Sabbath, Budgie, and Led Zeppelin riffs. Some of this album, when it reminds me of Black Sabbath, more so something either like Master of Reality or Volume 4. Especially Volume 4 has that sound on this album. Budgie, you definitely hear that Budgie influence for Led Zeppelin. Definitely you hear that as well, especially with the late Chris Cornell's vocals, which is very Robert Plant-ish. I definitely see why he gets compared to, why he did get compared to the likes of, Robert Plant. Just a good album, in a way. Just a real good, heavy rock album, I guess you can just say. Very doomish, very, stonerish. Just good. And it definitely doesn't sound like any, like Pearl Jam or Nirvana. It just sounds like what you expect from stuff that was coming out from bands such as St. Vitus or Pentagram, in a way. And of course they were on the same label as St. Vitus at one point, SST Records, which of course was ran by Greg Kihn, I believe was his name, of Black Flag, fame. Still, finally glad to have this. Have the album, and of course it piqued my interest to also check out the other project that Chris Cornell did, which I got this after my birthday. These two, which of course is Audio Slave's first two albums, debut, and of course Out of Exile. Of course, Audio Slave were, of course, was basically a project between, Chris Cornell and Rage Against the Machines. At one point, originally, Alice in Chains' late singer, Lane Stanley, was supposed to have been the singer, but due to his passing, Chris Cornell was then, hired. Very much, for some reason I was expecting something more Rage Against the Machines like. And I'm not the biggest Rage Against the Machines fan, could never really that much get into the music, but this definitely what I was at least hoping that at least it sounded like, which of course was, Soundgarden, which is very close to that, just a bit mixed with that Rage Against the Machines sound, a bit due to Tom Morello's guitar sounds, whatever. But I dig these two albums, I do. I like them. Normally I wouldn't like something like this at times, but there is at least some good, that good, Led Zeppelin-y, type of riffs on here, which I do like. So in a way, there's definitely something on here on these two albums that I definitely can get into. Now, the last one here definitely I also got on my birthday, but this was one of those, that really had me interested recently. And of course is the Derringer, the Complete Blue Sky albums 1976 to 1978. Let me take this out of the plastic just for a bit. I'll have to do probably a box set, showcase whatever on this, but I'm not gonna, show everything inside of here. Basically, it just features the first album from 1976, the radio only live in Cleveland, 1976. Their second album, Sweet Evil, from 1977. Derringer Live from 1977. And the last album titled If I Weren't So Romantic, I'd Shoot You, from 1978. Now, normally the reason why I didn't care to, check this out or whatever is due to the fact that it's Rick Derringer. I'm not the biggest fan of him due to, I think, because of listening to fucking Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo almost fucking 24/7 growing up on the radio. Then, of course, knowing of him being a guitar player for Edgar Winter. Of course, him writing, penning the songs Real American for Hulk Hogan and Demolition for the tag team. But what had me very interested was due to the fact that the drummer for the 4 releases here is Vinny Appice. Definitely the brother of Carmine, and of course would be known for drumming for Black Sabbath and Dio. So it definitely had me interested, but I still wasn't sure if this was really, really worth picking up. I checked out the song Sweet Evil off the second album, and off the second studio album, and was like, okay, this is good. Very much, in a way, this is definitely more hard rock, but Sweet Evil is probably the best album out of these. Sweet Evil is the best album, produced by Jack Douglas, and for, Aerosmith fame. Producing, those classic Aerosmith albums from the 1970s, and of course producing Moxie's second album and Riding High. Just a really good album, but the title track, you got it. It's one of those real holy shit type of songs. I did not know that Rick Derringer would write such a song. Normally he's known for doing a lot of poppy sort of stuff, but the song Sweet Evil isn't all that. It isn't fluffy, poppy, whatever. It starts out very dark and very melodic. Almost kind of like a Beyond the Realms of Death type of track. Very Judas Priest sounding. Of course, by the time you hit the 4:10 mark, which is where the guitar solo comes in, fucking Judas Priest to the max. Almost pushing it to being very early speed metal. real metallic, real manic, real crazy, the stuff that you expected from Judas Priest in the 1970s. Really killer track. And the album itself, while not all that, doesn't really all live up to that one song, it's still very good hard rock, very much in the vein of 70s Aerosmith. But that one song, one of those really overlooked proto-metal songs. Just a real good album, also. Anyways, still good. The 1978 album, If I Weren't So Romantic, I'd Shoot You, barely even is a Derringer album. Because of when I now think of the Derringer, I think of the lineup such as, Vinny Appice, Kenny Aronson, and Danny Johnson. You probably know who those guys are anyway. Danny, I'm not going to go into too much of where those guys would end up going, but you probably would know. Because on the 1978 album, those members ended up like Danny Johnson, Vinny Appice, and Kenny Aronson all pretty much left, and Rick Derringer got two other guys, and basically the album just sounds like a Rick Derringer solo album. It's very pop-ish in places and very whatever. It's just an okay album, not like the first two studio albums or the live stuff. Just not all that great of an album. Anyways, still glad to have this box set right here. Anyways, that was it for this collection update. Definitely we'll be back with a review here soon. So until then, this is Heavy Thrash Head saying I'm out. Oh yeah, and I also forgot to mention that the album that's being played in the background, if you can hear, is of course this Bullets Full Pull. Just felt like pulling it out. Good album from a Swedish metal band, Bullet. Anyways, later and take care.